This is a Thor News presentation. Thor News presents Comet C2012 S1 ISON and WTF NASA. Seriously, bro. Part 17. Wormwood, Comet of the Century, or Dud. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, baby. That's a great movie, too. It really is. I'm here to learn, I'm here to teach, and I'm here to have fun. Isn't that why everybody's here? Alright. Now let's get this party started. Alright? Alright. Right. We are at the halfway point of what could be the biggest story of 2013. Good. It could be the greatest celestial sight in generations. Something that inspires people for years to come. Bad. It could be Wormwood, a comet that seeds the planet with poison and bitters the water, causes many to die of plague, starvation, and chaos. Poison, plague, and fire. The ugly. Could be a total dud. It could be a total dud. Could be a total dud, dude. Alright, now let's get to the tic-tac knickknacks. Well, welcome back to those who've been with me on this fantastic and never boring celestial soap opera. And for those just now joining us, let's recap this bizarre affair. About the time famed Nibiru was supposed to show up, NASA coincidentally announced ISON as the Comet of the Century. Then they said it wasn't brightening as expected. Then they told us it was gonna double dust us. Then they were totally silent. Then they sent out the debunkers. Then they started backtracking, saying it could be a total dud. And then we achieved total victory, asterisk, as they put the Hubble on Comet ISON for multiple photographs. Now, one thing I want to say is that no matter what NASA says or does, they cannot debunk the fact that Comet ISON is possibly Wormwood, the famed celestial object from the stars that poisons our planet. Like, A, they don't know where it came from. B, they're the ones who told us it's gonna double dust us. We're gonna get caught in both streams of its dust. B, we don't know where it came from. They say it's from the outer Oort cloud, but they don't know for a fact. So the Oort cloud is a lot like the Santa Claus of science. It just brings us these Christmas gifts of asteroids and comets from nowhere. You know, like, I'd like a picture of the Oort cloud. I think the idea is cool, but I guess that would make dark matter like the Easter Bunny or leprechauns. Can't figure out which. We'll have to do that in another episode. Is ISON going to be passing through the asteroid belt? When we think about the ecliptic, we think of it as horizontal, and ISON's orbit and path is more vertical. So if ISON was going to disrupt the asteroid belt, it would have to be more like an asteroid belly, which I think it is. If you do look at the JPL models for a lot of the comet's orbital, it's like a big giant ball of asteroids and comets, if I got it right. Although when they show it, it's usually just flat 2D. You're like, what are you guys doing? Okay, I know that radioactivity could be a problem. You know, deep cosmic sludge could be a problem. That our ecosystem is very fragile. And at some point, I want to remind you, the Earth used to grow dinosaurs. And then something caused the Earth to stop growing dinosaurs and start growing human beings. Like, I understand that a comet or an asteroid or a giant volcano or aliens who hated friggin' dinosaurs wiped the dinosaurs out. But nothing explains why the Earth totally changed its process of becoming a dinosaur factory to a human being factory. I've always thought that was amazing. And who knows, man? Comets could be the thing that seed planets. I mean, I've heard wacky theories coming out of pro-science that say the majority of water on Earth came from comets, which doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I would believe that the molten core, when the planet was growing, it got really hot, the steam tried to escape, the atmosphere kept it in, and then it became water. Alright, that may or may not work for you, but it works for me. It's the best explanation I can think of. Other than having like 60,000 comets drop water off on like Mars, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need one hellacious comet filled with water. Oh, another thing. If you really boil down to brass tacks, no disrespect to NASA, I wouldn't do that to you. The whole explanation of what comets are and why they're there, why they do what they do, is pretty crappy. Like, it's pretty thin, man. Like, they're just these dirty snowballs that fly around the sun, and they're always bright, flaming dragons. Like, that doesn't really make any sense. That, like, this thing that sent ISON towards the sun, like, what would do that? A comet's like a rocket, and this rocket is headed towards the sun. Well, what made it travel 85 trillion miles to the sun? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It, like, came from nowhere. It's totally obsessed with the sun. We don't even know if it's gonna make it past the sun. And I understand that they think they know what the sun-grazing post-orbit is gonna be, but I just don't know how they could know. I mean, isn't this the first 1+ hyperbolic orbit? You know, like this thing, you know, that have we ever had a completely, totally hyperbolic comet before that has come from nowhere? Oh yeah, and about the whole Wormwood stuff and the poisoning thing, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there was a giant comet that came in 1665, right? Follow me? So like, let's say this microbial dust came by, it was in the air, and it slowly floated down harmlessly to Earth, just like NASA talks about. Well, guess what? In 1666, a year later, we had the Black Plague, and the Black Plague wiped out like 2/3 of all the people. What caused the Black Plague? They don't know. Sure, they'll blame it on something like bad bacon or global warming in 1666, or since it was 666, the year number caused evil air or something. But to have David Dickinson of Universe Today say that that's kind of like a crazy conspiracy theory, and then Amy Mainzer to passively aggressively agree with him by saying, oh, he wrote a great piece on crazy comet conspiracy theories. Well, that doesn't sound like crazy to me, man. You got a comet passed by in 1665 that probably dusted us, and then you have the Black Plague, which was inexplicable. I see correlation? Is that causation? I don't know. Cognitive dissonance? Pavlov's dog? Now I'm just spouting out stuff. Oh, we are seeing. Okay, yeah, this one's gonna need more funny. Alright, let's take a look and a tour of the Total Victory Prize. Okay, let's look at the new Hubble footage of ISON. It's just like sex. The first time, it was wonderful, mind-blowing. And like 50 times later, it's kind of weird and freaky. You know what I'm talking about? NVLife904 pointed out in his video that NASA had flipped and reversed the field of motion of ISON. He didn't know why. And he also mentioned that it looked like they had photoshopped the debris out. And it has been, you know, I mean, those photos were taken 2 months prior to their release. And they really just look like multiple photos of the earlier photo we'd gotten before. Like, not much had changed. And I was, you know, looking at it, I do find it very interesting that the entire coma seems to be uniform. Everything coming off that comet appears to be the exact same size, which is odd, and I would think mathematically impossible. Anywho, so I would guess, knowing how big this thing is, yeah, it's probably got some big chunks with it. And NASA's already prepared us for a meteor shower in the middle of January. Here's the deal, man. Dust doesn't cause meteor showers. Or if it does, it's going to be a freaky one, like, oh, fire in the sky. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap up this episode, but have no fear. I overwrote it, so I actually wrote out like 5 episodes and had to break them down. So I might be having episodes come out rapid fire like tit, okay? Cool. Excellent. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. If you get a chance, check me out on the Facebook, the YouTube, the Twitter, and in your dreams. I promise the next one will be funny. I thought since the last one was a bit silly, I'd stay more to the grindstone, shall we say. Alright, well, I appreciate everybody checking it out, and let's try and be prepared for all outcomes. And we will cover Wormwood in depth in the next episode. Congratulations! I don't know what for, though. Alright, later. I'm not just gonna babble forever. Am I? I don't know, possibly. Done it before? No, I haven't. I really thought about making a video where I just talk and see if anyone actually watches the whole thing. I don't know what I'd talk about, though, but I guess that would be part of it. I'd be like filibustering my own channel. That would be awesome, huh? Okay, cool. Later. Ladies, are you still with me? I am dang tired of astronomy being dominated by men. It is time that women step up to the forefront. Okay, great. Alright, God bless everybody. Hello, Amy Mainzer. I'm glad you're my #1 fan. ISON meetup soiree. Hope I get invited.